Hi, welcome to Room to Grieve podcast. We're your hosts, Karen and Bec. Grab yourself a cuppa, find a comfortable spot, and we'll journey through grief together.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. I feel like it's been ages since we've had a catch up, just us two, but it's probably, in reality, not been that long, but everything just... I didn't want to come on and moan today, and genuinely I'm feeling a little bit better.
You're actually looking better.
Yeah. I had therapy again today. And
I forgot. I always forget what therapy day is.
Yeah.
Did you play in the sandpit?
No, I didn't. We didn't do anything today, any games. Last week I had to do like a star, and like there was different points on the star of like family network, self-harm, mental health, all kinds of different things, and you had to rate where you sit from a 1 to 10. That was kind of boring. But wasn't shocking to highlight that the areas that I feel least in is my support network, and that's not necessarily for anyone's fault. It's this shit's just isolating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's just lonely and it's just hard, and nobody can really fully understand, and you want someone to do it all for you, don't you? Because it's really difficult, and the sad reality is that we all have to do this ourselves, and and it's sometimes that just feels a bit difficult, doesn't it, and a bit heavy. But
it gets overwhelming, doesn't it, at times, like we talked about last time. As soon as that overwhelming feel comes in, and the anxiety, and it can come from absolutely nowhere.
And that's what's been happening for me, which is really unusual, and it's stuff I really don't recognise particularly. And you know what I'm like for being a control freak? I don't like the fact that these feelings are appearing without warning, without triggers necessarily.
Yep.
I mean, maybe there's some subconscious trigger, but not an obvious trigger for me.
I don't think there is.
Yeah,
I don't
not
think
one that
triggers.
I can't brace myself for anything, and like when I rang you last week, or you rang me when you text me and said, do you want to talk? And you just think, I feel sick. I feel sick to my stomach, like absolutely petrified to my core. And like I just wanted to just cry. And because I just felt so scared of something. But I don't particularly know what. It was just an overwhelming, overriding feeling of, oh my God, I'm sinking. Like, I just don't know how to do this. But it was the physical sickness and the stomach churning. And there's been so much recently. And everybody says this, the second year is the hardest. But I think I kind of felt that the whole year was going to be harder. But it's actually as we're approaching that second year that it's harder for me. And I don't know whether it's because that's getting nearer. I don't know, but there's a lot that feels like day one.
Yeah. I think it's like, we know it's in waves. We've spoke about, everybody speaks about it coming in waves. I just think the waves are coming in harder.
I didn't expect this intensity.
Yeah.
I think I expected, and this is a naivety of anybody with grief, really, when you're doing it for the first time. And I think this is what takes us off guard, and this is what other people don't realise. So this is why maybe this kind of podcast is important. But I understood it was going to come in waves, but I thought those waves were just going to be waves of sadness, waves of triggers, waves of kind of expected emotions. I didn't expect waves of day one. I expected that intensity in that early 6-9 months. I expected that as that waned a little bit, that was gone forever.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that intensity to come back.
No.
That level of brain fog. And I think I said to you when I spoke to you, like, when Bradley died for the first 2 weeks, it's that self-preservation thing in my mind that my mind didn't kind of allow me to believe it because it was protecting me from the pain and the heartache. But I would go to sleep and I would dream every night that Bradley died in different ways. And I'd wake up in the morning and have these horrific dreams that Bradley died. And it was like my subconscious trying to subtly ease my reasoning into believing that Bradley had died. And I'm totally back there. It's like I emotionally cannot cope with the fact that he's died. And my brain is just completely in self-preservation mode.
Yeah.
And I'm just back to dreaming every night that he dies.
And it just shows that you don't need anniversaries. You don't need a build-up to anything. It is in us. It's a clock ticking away in us that we can do absolutely nothing about. We've just got to, we can't prepare ourselves. Like you said, you can't brace yourself. It's going to hit, and it might hit hard, it might hit gentle, and it'll hit at any ungiven time, right? It's unbelievable how it hits. But it is the same timeline, because this was you over the last, I am 3 weeks behind you.
Yeah.
Emily died 3 weeks after Bradley, and we can pinpoint things that are happening in our life over the last nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern. There is a pattern, because what you was feeling over the last couple of weeks, I was talking to you about it. We know we can't fix each other, but we do try and support each other in a way. And it's happening to me now. And I didn't want to tell you it was happening to me, because I don't want to jump on your bandwagon. It's your pain. It's your upset.
But it actually then gave me a little bit of relief of, okay, so this is normal. Because
I have to tell you in the end, because I wasn't functioning.
Because when you were doing it too, then I almost felt like, okay, this isn't just me.
Right, it's that again.
This is perfectly normal, as much as it's really difficult. And I tell you what I found really hard as well is, and I see a lot of people talk about this online or mention it, but I never really kind of got it in that grief doesn't get any easier. Grief just gets less acknowledged by people, and it gets harder to talk about. So this time around, like I've got the same feelings that I had when Bradley died. I just feel less able to say to people, I feel like this because Bradley died.
Yeah.
Because when I felt like it in the beginning, everybody was like, well, of course you do, because he's just died. But to say to people now, I feel like this, nobody gets the intensity. And so I just feel less able to say, I feel like I'm back at day one, and I can't tell you why.
That's how I felt today. I sat there today. Yesterday I had a difficult day. Again, we'll talk about how it can come from nowhere, because yesterday morning I went to Fat Club, my usual Tuesday morning, and fine, absolutely fine in Fat Club. I'd actually hurt my back the day before, and I was struggling to walk, and I was in pain. So I went to the butcher's, which I always do after Fat Club, and I get all Niles meat. And I was really sensible. I didn't put myself under pressure. I had a bag ready, and I got my everything balanced. I like my balance, And I took it back to the car, and I thought there was something I needed from Iceland, but I'm not going to go in there with all this bag. So I put it to the car, went back to Iceland and stood there, and I thought, what did I want? Could not think. So I was sort of starting to bubble up, thinking, I'm stupid. How can I forget? I've only walked as far as the car. How can I forget? And I mean totally and utterly forget what I wanted. I've remembered it now. It was chocolate, hot chocolate powder, vanilla. So I got some frozen fruit, got back to the car. I'd recovered myself. Sod it, whatever it is, it's obviously not life or death. So I sat in the car, put the engine on, and from nowhere started sobbing. Uncontrollable sobbing. It wasn't about being stood in Iceland, not remembering. It just come from nowhere. I couldn't drive. I was sat there 10, 15 minutes, And I thought, right, I can drive now. Not started again.
Yeah.
So got home and the day was like a write-off. Well, it could have been a write-off. I'm not fibbing there really, because then Niall said we're going for a walk because we've missed our walk this morning. And he said, is your back okay? Are you okay, Mum? Now, he's never nice to me. So it was like bottom lip was going again. I thought, I'm going to cry again in a minute. And I thought, no, I'm going for a walk. So we actually walked to the cake shop.
Why not?
It's a 2-hour walk, an hour there and an hour back.
And we deserves a cake.
Cake and a cup of tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was shite, actually. It was, it's nothing worse than having something that,
That's really disappointing. Yeah.
Anyway, so I got back home and I was down again straight away. And today this morning I got up and there was a message from YouTube. So I went to look at the messages to answer them. And it was a guy who said his daughter's called Emily and he'd give her a hug because it was touched by the story. So I don't know why I started watching Emily's story on YouTube. And I sat there for an hour sobbing again, but I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't. And I knew he was working, and I sat there and I thought, I've got nobody to ring.
Yeah.
How can I ring and talk to anybody? Because they just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't. It was nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. I know. In my head, if I sit and think about it, I could have rang a number of people. But right in that instant, I thought, I can't. I've nobody.
Yeah.
And that's not me feeling sorry for myself. It isn't. It's just the truth of grief.
It's very easy to be aware that nobody else really understands. And like you say, there are plenty of people you could ring. And there are plenty of people who are kind enough and thoughtful enough to sit and listen. But you know that they'll never really understand what you're saying. And so, having that conversation is still wonderful, but you still just know that they're never going to get the gravity. I mean, in my therapy today, she said to me something about, I was telling her about the dreams, and she was like, is that because you don't think that you fully allowed yourself to accept that he's died? And I said, I never will. And she said, we'll work towards that. And I was like, I'm not denying that he's died. I'm well aware that he's died. But what I'm telling you is the emotional impact of that is massive. There is no way that my human heart, soul, mind, body can take that much pain. That I can't ever go there.
No, because it's on so many different levels, Bec.
I just said to her, it's too big.
Yeah, it is too big, and you can break it down, and it can be too big for various reasons. It can be too big that there's some evil people in this world. Why did they have to go?
Yeah.
Or it could be that somebody's old, they've had their life. Why are they still here? It can be 1,000 things.
Yeah.
Why is children's brain cancer not supported enough? It can be a million things, but at the end of the day, they're still not here. They're still our children, and we still will not fully accept it or get over it, ever.
No.
And for a therapist to not understand that, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. In the end, she just said, okay. But, yeah, I just said to her, these feelings are too big. So, so that's kind of where I've been at. I've had a bit of as much as I'm crying, I had a bit of a lighter day today, felt a little bit better today. I didn't want to come on here and cry and moan because I'm trying.
What? Can I just tell you something?
What?
I am a little bit jealous about you for some things, and it's the fact that when you're crying, you can't even tell you're crying. You don't even look ugly. I mean, I've got the most ugliest cryy face. It's horrible. Yeah,
no, I do too.
I mean, but I don't know what I was. You don't. Honestly, you don't look any different. You can't. You can just see that tear. You're like such ladylike crying. I have snot and everything. It's not fair. I mean, I went to bed last night, and after the day and the crying on and off all day, Rob said, I hate to tell you this, but you do look like shite.
At least you can always rely on them.
But 4 layers of fake tan on my face. I still look like Casper the Ghost.
Simon's been loads better. He's really tried. The last week has really stepped up and made a bit of an effort. Small things, but I'm really appreciative of just the small things, you know, like I came home from work yesterday and he'd cooked dinner.
Wow, that's not a small thing.
Yeah, like...
what did he cook you?
He cooked me toad in the hole with veg and mash. I hate mash, but, you know, I didn't moan. I ate it.
Tell him you hate mash.
He knows I hate mash, so he
said...
said...
moan about it, though, did you?
No, I didn't. I just left. I just pushed it to one side on my plate and just left it. But yeah, but no, he did me roasted carrots and leeks and Savoy cabbage, and it was all really nice. Loved it. So yeah, so I was really chuffed with that. And then, what other things has he done? He has this terrible habit previously of we're not allowed to talk about things, and you know the whole reason I do a podcast is because talking helps me. But he's allowed me to sit and talk to him and just vent some of my feelings and my frustrations this week. And he's listened. And instead of telling me that we're not allowed to talk about it, he's allowed me to talk about it. So that's really helped me because sometimes I just want to say things out loud.
Yeah.
And he's just made little effort. He's just made little suggestions of like, you know, can we do few things, spend more time together? And he's just moaned a lot less and he's put a lot less pressure on me, and I know that's really hard for him to do that, and that takes a lot for him to think to do that. So yeah, I just feel really appreciative that I can see he's trying.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because I mean, he does have some good suggestions, doesn't he?
He's an ideas man.
He is I call him an ideas man.
He's an ideas man.
Yeah.
Do
you think he'll do another podcast? Can I text him?
Oh, you could try.
He's good. He moved more than me, though. I mean,
he did.
He was tapping and banging, and I'm being really good today. I'm trying to keep still. A little bit like a tailor's dummy, that's why.
You look like you're ventriloquist. Like,
got it.
But yeah, the other thing that's still massive for me, that's still driving me insane, that I do genuinely think I need help with, and I'm not sure that my therapy I have at the moment is the right thing, and whether this is a PTSD kind of thing, is this health anxiety. It's off the fucking Richter scale.
Right.
Everybody's dying. You know, like I texted my dad yesterday and he texted me yesterday morning, and it's just me going into overdrive. He said he had something on yesterday, and his choice of words were not feeling very enriched, don't feel like I can do this, maybe a short walk will help today, put me in a better mood. And he just meant he had no get up and go into doing the project that he was doing. Then he texted me at the end of the night and said, still feeling very lifeless, maybe need to go to bed. Well, I went into complete meltdown. Like, that's not like my dad. He's not like that. Like, you know, he's really ill. And Simon was like, will you just calm down? And I was like, I can't. You know, like my brain just reads what's not there.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not like my dad. I sent him a message and instead of replying, he just sent me a kiss back. And I was like, Dad never does that. He must be feeling really ill. Like he's obviously gone to bed and doesn't even have the energy to text me. He's so ill.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that at all. He was just busy.
Yeah. Texting is, it can cause so much trouble, texting.
Yeah.
You can read things wrong. That's just when you're feeling normal. But when you're grieving as well, you can twist things and you can be upset by things.
Yeah.
And really, you should just talk. Just rang him up and said, Dad, what's going on? He could say then, oh, I'm busy at the moment. And you'd, oh, right, okay then. And it can solve a lot of worry and your mind spiraling.
And like, I sit here and I think, oh, my throat really hurts. oh my God, I've got throat cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you do.
but that's getting worse. It's
Right,
getting
so
unmanageable.
I think you should, why don't you try and get hold of John? Because you can do that online.
Yeah, that it's getting completely unmanageable.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't a single soul in this world who isn't dying in my mind.
Yeah.
And I can't cope with that.
No, I know you can't. It's because it's not just one person who's got health issues. It's you, now your dad, Zachary, Simon. You'll be worried about every one of them for all different things, and you've escalated everything in your head.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a rash.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a rash, right? You'll get some cream for it.
On my arm, I will say. You've got a rash. I'm just to say, it's just on my arm. It's not any.
Sit on my ass then. I was going to say, that's not personal. You haven't told me that. Right, you've got a rash on your arm. You've been given some cream. Yeah, it's not worked. You've had a second opinion. It wasn't what you wanted to be told. She wasn't a very nice person. But
no,
you'll deal with it, and you'll go back again when you was told to do so. And if it's not done, if it's not worked, we'll try something else. Do the skin biopsy, get the results, right? You ain't lucky enough to get to our kids before me, right? You're not going. It'll be sorted.
Do you know what? It's not even that worries me. Like, I have no fear of dying at all. Because
you can't cope with somebody else dying.
Because there will be a part of me that will be so excited about that.
Yeah.
But what I can't cope with is the pain that will put my children through. They can't do that again. That just feels really unfair to everybody that gets left behind.
I know.
Like, what did my kids do to deserve that?
I know. Because we build ourselves up so much to think that Em and Brad are having such a good time where they are, and they're connecting with others. Oh, she's thrown names at me this week.
I've had so many signs this week.
Oh, just so much, right?
So much.
They're having a good time. They're having a ball. And yeah, we're not. We're stuck here waiting to be with them.
Yeah. So for me, having to go and be with them, I feel sad that I get to miss. I feel, if that would happen, I feel sad that I'd get to miss my other kids, and I feel sad that my other kids have to live with that pain. But the sadness is for them. It's 100% for them. But, I'm not even saying that's what's going to happen. But, but this is what my mind is doing for me at a million miles an hour all of the time.
Just at the moment, your mind has become out of control.
Yeah.
And you can usually control it.
Yeah.
And
but it's doing it for everybody.
That you can't control your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doing it for everything. There isn't a single person who I speak to. I mean, I sat in the office yesterday, and some woman said, they were talking about menopause. Oh, my brain! I've got really bad brain fog. And we were talking about menopause symptoms, and I was like, oh, the rotator cuff's one of them. And she said, oh, is that why my arm hurts? I was like, yeah. And then she was like, oh, is it anything to do with flaky skin? Because I've got these really bad patches on my feet that are really flaky, and they're really itchy, and they're driving me insane. And then in my mind, I'm like, no, you've just got skin cancer, you're just dying. And you think this is purely irrational. Purely irrational. This is not a normal person's mindset. But I truly sat there being like, no, you're dead, love. It's not normal, is it?
No, my dad used to say, it's something me and Rob say, even the kids said it. That man down the road, which man? Him down there. Who is it? Who is it? Dead. Dead now. Dead. 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 And they were always dead. Right? So, and this is my sense of humour. when my dad died, I rang I rang Rob at work. I went, can you come round? Can you come? I need you. And he said, yeah. He said, how is he? I went, he's dead. Dead. And Karen, how can you say that? I said, I can't say that. That's my dad. Because my dad is got my sense of humour. He gave me his sense of humour.
Yeah.
And my kids have got the same sense of humour.
Yeah, I just seem to have lost that at the minute, and
Yeah,
every
you'll get
fucker
it back.
genuinely is dying.
You'll get it back. Nobody's going to die. They're
It's
not.
really hard to live with, though, you know? It's a massive source of anxiety.
I know. I can imagine. Well, I can't imagine it. I'm lying when I say that because it's not something. My anxiety is totally different. So
Yeah.
My anxiety is fear, but not fear of dying or anybody else dying.
Yours is just fear of living.
Of something bad's going to happen and just.
Well, yeah, I get that too. I don't trust the universe. You know. Yeah, I am a bit of a negative Nancy. Yeah, just always worst case scenario. It's 100 miles an hour from, 0 to dead.
Yeah.
I don't have any in between.
I know.
And that is really tough because then you live in this world of constant what ifs and
waiting for something bad to happen.
And over analysing every single thing.
And if you have a good time or a good moment, something nice, you think, right, shit's going to hit the fan now. Something's going to go wrong now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
spoiling life because you're just in that constant state of waiting for something horrible to happen.
Yeah, it is. Totally. I said that to Simon. I said, I just wish, we have so many friends that are quite happy to go to work and do a mediocre job because it's less stress, because it's enough money, because it's low hours, because it's local. And they're quite happy to do that and go home at the end of the day and sit and just be in the moment. I've never been able to do that.
Do you think you'll be able to do it now?
I don't know. I'm always striving for success, striving for something more, striving for something better. And my therapist has said that's because I've conditioned myself that being comfortable isn't safe because of past trauma and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So she said, because that's not, in my mind, that's not a safe place to be. Okay. So she said, we need to work on the fact that coming home from work and just sitting on the sofa and watching telly is safe. That I don't need to be on a constant high alert.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that really difficult. But it is something I really want to do. And it's something I've never been able to do ever.
Well, you could do that just at weekends. With Simon working nights, you could do that on Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
And try and do that. And try and
do you know what she told me I've got to start with?
Oh, God.
Which is the weirdest thing ever. I've got to start with being present with my food.
What? What does that mean?
When I eat my food, I need to be intentional with it. So I need to...
mindful. Mindful as to what you're eating.
Yeah, I need to listen to the knife on the plate. I need to listen to the noises that the food make. I need to experience the different flavours in the food. I need to chew my food at least 20 times.
Can you just go back to the sandpit instead?
Yeah, and I need to be really present with my food because slowing down with that will help me slow down with other things, apparently. Okay. Because she was like, are you really in the moment with your food? I was like, I don't fucking shove it in my mouth while I'm typing. And she was like, no, you need to.
I just did a bowl of porridge for my tea, which I promised I wouldn't have porridge.
I know, right?
The bowl's on the other side of the computer.
Yeah, well, that apparently doesn't help with a more mindful way of life, so you have to connect to your plate.
You know what? I think she might be right.
Well, I said I'm going to try.
I think she might be right, because I promised. I don't know. I've probably spoke about it. I have zero interest in food at the moment, and I have been just living on porridge because it became a zero-pointed food on Weight Watchers. I thought, whoa, I'll have porridge. That's all. I don't have to think. I don't have to think about what I've got to cook. My son cooks for my husband. He does his evening meal and is at work the rest of the time. I don't have to cook for anybody. I can
So
just have my
nice.
porridge. 3 minutes and my breakfast is done. Then it got even worse because I thought, I don't really have to do lunch. I'll just have a bigger bowl of porridge for my breakfast. Yeah? So you're supposed to, it is one portion that you have. I must have had in this bowl like about 5 portions of porridge, right? Or Goldilocks, you've been calling me. And it's become lazy. I'm not, it's just food to function to. It's to get me through the day. Because that's all we do. We just you think to yourself, on Friday evening, you think, oh, I've got through a week. And then Monday morning, it hits you again, oh, geez, I've got another week to get through.
That feels sad though, right?
It is sad. And it's sad that I'm just eating to keep me alive. So on Saturday night, I made a nice tea. We really, really enjoyed it. And I've made myself now I have only just gone on to protein shakes because I'm still not ready to cook other meals. But it is one up from, at least I'm getting protein in and not just carbs. Yeah, but I have had porridge from the tea because I've run out of time. But from tomorrow, back on it again, protein shakes, and I'm going to make sure I make one meal a day.
Because you used to enjoy cooking and hosting and that kind of thing too, didn't you? Like, because that's what the therapist said to me. She was like, are you in the moment when you cook? And I was like, yes, because I enjoy cooking. So for me, cooking is, I love to cook something from scratch and, experience the flavours and the smells and all of that. Like, I don't, I'm not someone that just throws something in a pan and it just is what it is. I enjoy cooking. So the cooking part, I am quite intentional with. But the eating part is just like, just shove it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm eating more. I'm not eating less. I'm eating more, but that's emotional eating. It's a stress response. And I'm eating stuff.
You're eating the wrong things, aren't you?
I'm eating totally the wrong things, which then spiral my mood even more because they're the wrong things and they're not good for my mind and they put my mind in a bad place. And then I'm eating
Plus
stuff.
You get pissed off that you've ate something you shouldn't. And you think, all that
and
good
I'm eating
work
stuff
that you
to
did.
the point it's going in my mouth and I can feel it physically queuing, thinking I can't even swallow that because I've got no room for it. Yet I'm still picking up stuff to put in my mouth, thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't want it. I actually physically want to spit that out.
Yeah.
So why am I still ramming stuff in my mouth? It's just a stress response. And then, that whole then guilty cycle of, I didn't need to eat that. I've now gained 6 pounds because I'm eating a ridiculous amount of food and not moving again. My friend came round on Friday and she was like, oh, I've had such a bad week. I really don't move. And I was like, Jane, I can top all of this. And she was like, no, honestly, look, I've only done 3,000 steps today. I checked mine. I'd done 123. $123 steps in one day.
But you know what? While you were doing them 123 steps, you've had that wave that we talked about hitting you at such a force that it doesn't really matter that you've only done that many steps because now the wave's ebbing out and now you can start walking again.
Yeah.
And
I've been awake.
And it's so easy to get back into. You get back to how many you was doing, so you was doing 10,000 steps a day. You get back into that very, very quickly.
I hope so. I mean, I'd been up 16 hours at that point. 17 hours, and I'd done 123 steps.
Yeah, that's shit.
And that's not me being lazy. That's not me just saying, oh, I just got up and I sat on the sofa.
No,
that's me
put so much into your day. You haven't got time to do any of this.
No, that's me. I got up, sat down, and I worked.
Yeah.
And I distracted myself in work to the point that I just typed and didn't move, didn't look up.
I think you need to have a little book. You know, like your little books. Get your little book.
Yeah.
And you need to have a chart. So you need to do so many steps a day, and you've got to stop work. It'll still be there when you come back.
Yeah.
It will still be there. The government will not stop because Rebecca has gone for a walk, right? You nearly said what you did then, and not like, I'd have to. Nearly slipped off. Not James Bond, right?
Oh, no, I need a different physique for that.
Yeah. So you need to get your act together now for you, for your brain, for you to function, because I need you.
I just need to enjoy my own life too,
Yes, you do.
And I just want to learn just to be grateful for my life. There isn't really, when I'm feeling all of this sadness and like everything is the end of the world and that I'm going to die, even though I'm really not, but that's how I feel some days. And it's a genuine fear. Yeah. So I have a genuine response to it because as weird and fucked up as that is in my mind, it's genuine in my head.
Of course it is.
My response to that is I feel sad that I haven't just been in the moment and just enjoyed life as it is, and then I just feel intense sadness for my kids. Yeah, and I actually,
because you're acknowledging that,
I've got the opportunity to do
you've got
something
the opportunity
about it, right?
to put it right.
Yeah,
it's like when you said 12 months ago, why wait until you're ill to start eating more healthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did it, and you was doing really well with it, and you'd improved everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then my mental health spiraled and everything went with it.
So you know what to do, you know how to do it. And I know it sounds dead easy coming from somebody else, but I'm allowed to say it to you.
No, but it's the opposite for you. You just don't, it's no different for you, but you just stop eating. You're not looking after yourself any better. You're just not eating.
Yeah, I'm just doing what you're doing in a different way.
Yeah. So like I'm not moving and focusing on typing and stuff in my face, whereas you're exhausting yourself doing far too fucking much and not fueling yourself to do it. Like we're just opposite ends of the spectrum having exactly the same reaction to something.
I crawled up to bed on Monday night. So I worked all day Saturday, all day Sunday, building things under the deck. So we was sawing, we was nailing, we was cutting, we was doing all this. And then on Monday, I thought, right, I'm going to paint that area that we've done. Yeah. So I painted for 8 hours. Right. After 6 hours, I couldn't move and I had to finish the last 2 hours off on my hands and knees. And then I got stuck on the block pavers because I couldn't get up. So I did a yoga pose thinking, right, I'll just stretch into this yoga pose and try and so I was on my hands and knees on the block pavers, right, thinking, no. Right. So I thought if I roll onto my side, I had to crawl back up the steps on the decking. Right. I couldn't stand up.
Yeah.
So Rob came on and went, what the hell? And it made it worse. I was covered in black paint and I went, I've hurt my back. I can't stand up. And I literally crawled to bed. And I went to bed covered in paint.
Yeah.
And I was so relieved the next morning that it was raining because I thought I can't do any painting because it's raining. There was no way I could have done it.
I don't know what the answer is, but
we're both doing the exact opposite, but
it's the same reaction.
It's the same reaction, yeah. The only thing is I am not, and I've always been like this. I don't fear the illness thing.
I do.
I've trained my brain. I don't know why. I used to be like that because when my dad was old, I cared for my dad for 10 years and we stopped going abroad. We bought a caravan so I could be in this country and get to him. I'd only go somewhere 2 hours away so I could always get to my dad to look after my dad, and went through quite a lot with that mentally. And even like when I had the lump in my boob the other week, it weren't that I just didn't care. I just didn't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I've got to that. So I can't say to you, oh, I did this, and that's what you could do to make it easy for her, because I don't know what I've done and how I've got to that.
Yeah, no, I just can't do it. But I'm at the other end of the scale. It's irrational.
Yeah. And you know, but you do know it's irrational, which is a little bit easier to deal with, because you know you're being irrational. And if you sit down and you think, right, this is that, that's that, and if that happens, we'll deal with that. And
I just can't remember how to think normally. I can't remember how to have a conversation with somebody who says, oh, I've got a bit of a headache, it's really bad, it hurts here, and me not think, well, fuck it, you're dead. I just can't remember how to have that normal response reaction of, oh, that's bad, take a paracetamol. That part of coping, of answering, is gone.
Yep.
And it's like, I can't remember it to kind of educate myself to be normal, because I can't remember what normal looks like. So it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's just disappeared.
Maybe it's just got to be your new normal at the moment, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, but you see, worrying's become a new thing, hasn't it?
I only mean of other people. I don't mean your family.
I just can't help it. I just can't help it. I just overanalyze everybody. I watch everybody all of the time. Like when Bradley was ill, like when the kids were ill and you knew what kind of signs to look out for, and you just watched them all the time. Just waiting for, their hand
Next
to stop
stage.
working, waiting for, and you'd see them decline every single day. I just feel like I'm just waiting for that in everybody every day.
Yeah.
But I've had loads of signs off the kids.
Right, come on, let's tell us these.
Ones that I can definitely think of that has happened. We had to go to Stockton upon Tees. Is that what it's called? Teesside on Sunday.
Oh yes.
And we stopped at the services on the way up to the services, and I thought there was a feather on the floor, and it wasn't. It was just a white mark. And I was like in my head talking to Bradley, like, oh, are you going to send me a feather today? That'd be nice. So then I was driving along, we went to Teesside, and then I was thinking, oh, no, it'd be nice if we just sent me a little feather. That'd be nice. And then we were driving home, wasn't thinking anything of it. And I'm not fucking joking. This kamikaze pigeon flew straight into our windscreen. Like, I screamed, Simon ducked, Zachary was following us in the car behind, and he just rang and went, is your windscreen smashed? Funnily enough, it wasn't, but there was bird guts all over the screen. And he was like, did you see how many feathers there were? And I was like, Bradley, you're taking the fucking piss. I asked for one feather, not a fucking exploding pigeon. Like, so we had more feathers than you knew what the fuck to do with.
You had the lights as well. The lights that started working that hadn't even been charged.
Yeah, so then I've got a load of solar, like garden lights, that Simon had taken apart. And so he took the wires out, so they're not even wired in. And they're in a box, and the little solar panel things at the bottom of the box, and the lights are all kind of hanging out because I hadn't put them away properly. And I sat there today talking about the lights to my dad, and the lights turned on. And it's the middle of the afternoon in a south-facing room with the sun shining, so it wasn't dark, but the lights came on. But the lights only come on in the dark, usually, and they only come on if I charge them. Well, I hadn't wired them up and I hadn't charged them, but the lights came on. And then Simon got up this afternoon about 4:00 and he walked into the kitchen and I said, "You'll never guess what happened today." I said, "You see them lights there?" And they lit up. And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Look, they're a light." And he was like, "Yeah." And he kept moving around the room to see whether like he was casting a shadow. And I was like, "How have they lit up, Simon? Because like the thing," and he was like, "But the sensor's in the box, so it's in the dark." And I was like, "But I get that, but the sensor's been in the box for the last 6 days and I haven't moved it. So why do they just keep coming on and off?" And then they went off. And then Simon was like, "Can you turn the lights back on again?" And they came back on again and then went off. And we were like, "Well, that's a bit fucking freaky." Cannot explain why those lights came on. Cannot explain it. And then Simon was driving to work yesterday and he rang me and he said, "I've got to tell you this." He said, "I was driving to work in the same place where I always ask for an owl." He was going down that road. And he said, he was talking to Bradley and he asked Bradley for a sign. And he said it was dark. And he couldn't see any clouds in the sky because it was dark. But then he said all of a sudden this like cloud lit up in the sky. And he said it was like a round-ish kind of shape of clouds. And in the middle of it, it looked like it spelled Brad. And he was like, "I tried to take a picture as I was driving, but I couldn't." And then I had to go around the corner and he was like, and I couldn't see it anymore. But he was like, it was just this cloud just lit up in the sky. He was like, it was really weird and just lit his name in the sky. He was like, it wasn't really obvious. You had to kind of, you know, twist your head to look at it, kind of make it say Brad kind of thing. It wasn't like he just managed to physically type his name in the sky. But yeah, you know, and you think, wow, like, how did he do that?
Just a nice cloud lit up is enough. We don't need names.
Yeah, he said Simon said he's had Bradley and Emily on number plates a lot this week. So yeah, they've been out in force. So that makes me feel a little bit better, and that they're trying to just tell me that everything's okay.
Yeah. I've had loads really, really weird dreams because I don't dream very often, but I've had proper weird dreams. Mostly about you, and the one I told you about the other day, that you need to let Simon, just let him go and deal with his own grief in his own way and not try to control it. And he'd come back when he's ready, and although it's hard for you, and that was like so vivid. And then the other one, I was in a house and somebody had a baby. And they put the baby on, and I held the baby when the lady, I don't know who she was, she'd gone out of the room, and the baby's eyes opened, and it was Emily's eyes. And I just went, and then the baby started talking, and it was Emily talking. And I'm like, and then the woman come in, and the baby closed her eyes again, and I didn't want to let that baby go. I woke up, I was crying, I woke myself up crying, and I just didn't want to let the baby go.
Do you know what? I'm such an analytical person, and even I can't analyse that one.
No. But I never usually remember them, but I remembered my last few nights, they'd been strange dreams, and I've remembered them all. And it was like messages, but for you.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But I speak to Emily every night, as you know, and I spoke to her. I was speaking to a lady, and I did a pebble, because I found a pebble under the decking where we work, and I thought, oh, that's a nice pebble, and it's sort of a good size to carry. And I thought, I'll have a practice on that. So I'd read about a son, and he was a really good swimmer, and he was a member of like, I think he said it was the dolphins. And I thought, I want to try and paint a dolphin. So I did this dolphin. And the dolphin, it weren't too bad. You could tell
I thought it was all right. You sent it to me. I thought it was all right. Better than I could have done.
Rob come home and I said, "What do you think of that?" He said, "It's a dolphin." It's all right, but I'm not very good with the writing, with the names.
Yeah.
I'm just not good. The pebbles are so uneven that you try your best to be neat. And so, like I started with the L and it went like that. So then I've got to make it bigger and then bigger again because it's, so So
Yeah.
obviously Emily is a fantastic artist, and I spoke to her with the pendulum, and I said, I've done a pebble today. Have you been with me? I said, I wish you was here with me, helping me with these pebbles. I'm so rubbish at them. So she said, yes, yeah, I'm rubbish. And I said, have you seen what I've done today? She said, yeah. I said, is it a giraffe? No. Is it an elephant? No. Is it a dolphin? Yes. That's right. Yeah, you've passed that test. And I said, and is it good? And she went, no. I went, is it shit? Yeah. So,
I thought it was all right, but
well,
I'm not an artist, so
I'll send a picture to his mum and let her make the decision, but she'll probably just be polite.
I'm going to
and
say she'll be
"That's good."
polite. Yeah.
Because I know I wouldn't. I'll go, no, that's shit.
Yeah, but not everyone's as honest as me and you.
No, perhaps not. It's got to keep going, haven't we? What else can we do? Deal with one ailment at a time. Let's get this rash sorted. Your rash on your arm, not your ass.
Yeah, we'll get that
Get
sorted.
that sorted. Get Zachary sorted. He's getting there.
Yeah.
You've got to remember they had waves at the same time as us, and we all knew where we stood at the same time, but we all get them in different intensities at different times, and you're scared of telling the other person how you feel because they're doing well at the moment. It's bloody hard. It really is.
Yeah. And when you see them falling down when you're already down, it's like, no. Like,
No,
you need to,
stay where you are because I can't cope with that at the moment. Yeah.
I think I just underestimated how I expected change. I expected to have learnt some coping mechanisms. And as much as I haven't learned any control in it. And that's just alien for me.
You can't control it all the time.
No. You can't control it at all, I don't think. It's just so...
I think you can. You can control it sometimes.
Not when it's unpredictable.
You can be organised and you can control it some of the time. It's when it hits you from nowhere that you can't. Because it's just a shock to your system. You think, where did that come from?
Yeah, and it is like day one.
Yeah. I mean, we can all deal with different things. I've got a new phone, not broke it, and I've done really well because I didn't today. I was challenged today with the what's it called? EasyJet app, and it wouldn't accept my password, so I changed it. It still wouldn't accept it, and I didn't throw my phone.
Well done, proud of you.
How good am I? I want a new ringtone on my phone.
Oh, okay.
And I want Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And I've picked my song, and Rob's going, I don't think I can cope with that. I'm like, wow, where did that come from? And he said, I can't listen to that ringtone, I'm sorry.
That was really brave of him, to be really honest.
Yeah. And I said, well, is it because it's that particular song that it kept playing in ICU when she was very, very poorly? And he went, it's all of them. I can't cope with any of them, to be honest. And I went, right, okay. Yeah. So Niall said, do you want me to put you a different song on, Mum? I went, no, I want that one. Shut up, shit. But I did take his feelings into consideration.
They just weren't enough. Do you know what? Phones are a PTSD trigger for me.
Right.
Massively. If Simon's phone rings, I can vomit. I feel physically fucking sick. It stops. My heart stops when his phone rings.
Why?
Because nobody ever rings him, and the only times he's ever had the phone ring was the first night Bradley was ill with a headache. He rang his dad. And when Bradley was first diagnosed, Zachary would go out and drink a lot, and then people would ring us in the middle of the night to say we needed to go and pick Zachary up because he wasn't coping. And I just associate Simon's phone ringing with disaster.
Right.
You know, so I can't cope when his phone rings.
Right. You need to talk to my brother about that.
Why?
because he had the same thing for years, thinking that it was bad news about my dad, that my dad had had a fall, that my dad had died, my dad was whatever. And he got through that with, so save yourself thousands of pounds worth of therapy, what Anthony paid, and just talk to him.
Yeah, that's massive for me. Yeah, physically could be sick when that phone goes off.
Yeah, that is something you can deal with. Promise you, that is something. So anything you can deal with, talk about you can't control it, something like that is a massive thing that can be helped with. You don't need to suffer some of the things. There's some things we can, and we've got to just take the suffering and get through, but there's some things you don't.
Yeah, I do need to rationalise between what's normal and what's not with some stuff. But yeah, God, it's just a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? And you know what? Then I feel guilty in amongst it all because I'm so distracted and overwhelmed with all of this panic of everybody else is around me dying and I'm dying, that I'm not focusing on the fact that Bradley's already died. And then you know, when you have those moments in the day where I think about that, I feel so guilty that I'm worrying about other shit that's not even happened and putting that over him.
But you're not, because that is what has happened, and it's as if it hurts us physically, mentally, and there's nothing we can do about it. So you cannot be in that all the time. And would it change anything if you was?
No.
You certainly wouldn't be able to function and do your job.
No, I'm only just doing that anyway. God, I didn't want to come and moan today, and it's all just been about me moaning about how much I feel sorry for myself and I'm really struggling with life. But I genuinely want to I do want to cope with life. I want to be able to come on a podcast and us talk about useful things and helpful things, and I just can't at the minute. My life just feels
that doesn't matter.
So tough.
So much better already. I'm telling you now, you are. You look better. You sound better. Your voice is your own voice again. You are a bit more cheerful. You are. You're getting there. You're doing really. You're absolutely under so much pressure from every single angle, and you're still here. You can still smile. You can still laugh, and the poorly voice is going.
A little bit.
Yeah. You sounded like Simon then, a little bit. So we need Simon back on. We need a podcast with Simon.
Yeah, I don't know what he'd tell you. Blimey. Well, he's going to start therapy. So let him do a bit of therapy and then come back on and tell you how it worked for him. Because I'm still not sure I'm a therapy person.
I think I don't think it's a therapy person. I think we'll go back to the common denominator here. Because I'd hate if you walked her and I can imagine being sat there and you'd gone out and, oh God, can nobody else deal with her? So it's good that you're a challenge. You're putting them, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Carry on being you, because, you know, they might learn something.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I'm helping them in their education.
You're not just helping them, you're helping the next person that they go to, because they'll have learned off you.
Yeah. I'll leave you all with that depressing episode. So sorry about that. With me sitting here playing my violin worries me.
It's not a violin. It's not a depressing episode. You know what it is? It's grief. It's life. It's getting on with life. It's getting through things. It's getting through different things. And we all go through it at different stages and at different, what's the word?
Well, I know what you're trying to say.
Got me words again.
Yeah, I have the same problem. But yeah, I just hope that by me sharing, it helps somebody else, but me sharing it helps me.
Yeah. So it don't matter if it don't help anybody else as well.
No, it's selfish that.
It's
but
help you.
So, grab yourself a cuppa.
Find a comfortable spot.
We'll journey through grief together. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.